I called it. I called it. I called it. I called it. Yesterday, we had a good old time enjoying how happy the president was, how how wicked smart the president felt he was because he took what he called an exam, but was really a cognitive test. Um, the Donald Trump was very happy that he could identify a giraffe, a tiger, an elephant. Um, it didn't get into the weeds, we didn't get into subspecies or, you know, different, different, um, different species within the animal kingdom. Like, is that a sub-Saharan zebra? Or we didn't go that deep, but Donald Trump was very proud of himself. We played the audio yesterday, so much so that he bragged about it on Air Force One, that he passed the cognitive test. Well, again, we're taking him for his word. And yesterday I was joking because I said, well, he called it an exam. And at least from my time in college, we didn't have many exams where we just had to identify animals. Maybe I didn't take Animal 101. Maybe I think I might have tested out of Baby Einstein courses. But Donald Trump was very proud that he passed the very hard. Again, that's a quote. Donald Trump called the cognitive test an exam, and then said it was very hard, and said he'd like to see AOC or Jasmine Crockett take it, which I said, oh, poor guy. Poor guy, he doesn't know that those are really smart women. They could probably identify, more than 3 animals. They could probably identify 10, 20 animals. But while we were joking about it and listening to Donald Trump say that he challenged AOC or Jasmine Crockett to the cognitive test. I say, Jasmine, AOC, if you're watching, I'm Rob. I joke about the news every day because the news is a joke. You clearly know some of this. I say you should make a TikTok or make a little video, Jasmine or AOC, Miss Crockett or Miss Cortez. You should make a video where you identify more than 3 animals, because there's only 3 animals you have to identify in the cognitive exam. And Donald Trump said it was very hard. He offered a challenge to the Democrats to try and pass that cognitive test, which I really hope they do. I really hope they do. Saturday Night Live, is that still on? You should do something with this. There's so much fun to be had with the president bragging about identifying a giraffe, a zebra, a lion, tiger. But while we joked about that, I made the joke that this dude took the test because it's also the test they give to old people to kind of gauge whether or not old folks might wake up, go to make a coffee, and end up in the woods with, whatever the version of an alert is for old people. What is it, a gray alert? Old silver fox alert? Whatever the alert is for old folks who have wandered off. And I made that joke. I was joking. I cannot predict the future, or can I? But I joked, they took him to Walter Reed to take the cognitive test because they probably got some concerns, And Donald Trump, of course, said, well, I went to Walter Reed and I requested this exam. He said, give me the one with the tiger and the lion. I'll ace it. But really, they were like, oh, shoot, the president's got to do a lot of traveling. We don't want to lose him in, like, the Germany's Black Woods or something. I can't do this. I can't believe that there's real people out here, real adults that didn't have to take the cognitive test, that are, like, supporting this dude. They are clearly filling their pockets. The coffers are being choked with how much gold is being put in them right now. This poor old dude, really, he should be sitting in front of a TV yelling at a cloud or something. But I joked that they give this exam to old folks because old folks sometimes, you see it on the news, stumble into the woods, and you see the alert. Hey, if you see an old dude, wearing khakis and an Izod shirt, Please alert authorities. And I made that joke. And what do you know? Today in the news. What's up, Michael? Michael, I don't know if you were here to hear me joke yesterday about, they gave Trump the dementia test because they were concerned he was gonna wander off, and they needed to know if they needed to slip a Apple AirTag in his front pocket. But I go to the news today, and it turns out old man wanders off while meeting Japanese prime minister. Now, I was kidding. It was funny because I was kidding. This is now a major concern. If you can see, this is a major concern. We got a president of America who just kind of wanders off, And listen, as much as I know the country, some people still respect the office. We don't need this office disgraced anymore by having to put out a world orange apricot alert. What do apricots make? What kind of raisins do apricots make? An old wrinkly apricot raisin alert. We don't want to have to put out an apricot alert because Donald Trump wandered off while meeting some high priest of Westeros, This is absolutely bananas. Yesterday I was joking because he said, I took this very hard exam. He said, I'd like to say, Jasmine Crockett, take this exam where you have to identify a giraffe, a chubby unicorn, and a tiger. And I was like, oh, they gave him this. They told him he was going to go take it to, see if he was going to start Good Will Hunting 2. And it turns out they were giving it to him because they were like, this dude keeps wandering off. And, we're going to have to put one of those monkey backpacks where the tail is the leash. And you're going to see Stephen Miller walking behind him holding the leash tail. And Donald Trump's going to have one of those little kid backpacks that has the, he's going to be like, I identified this as a monkey. And then Stephen Miller gave it to me after I aced the test. And Steve Miller's going to be holding the leash to Donald Trump's backpack. Because, listen, I was kidding. But in all seriousness, folks, I linked the article down below. This is unreal. This is unreal. During, I can't read what that says. Something ceremony in Tokyo Tuesday, Donald Trump appeared to forget where he was going as he walked through a room filled with dignitaries and a military band. At one point, even leaving Japanese prime minister. Shit. You see that lady? She's like, oh, God damn. I had one job. It's like Prince Andrew. He had one job, to live his life in such a way that he wasn't a pervert and have all his royalty titles stripped from him. And he couldn't even live his life that way. This lady had one job. Make sure the old apricot didn't, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. Make sure he doesn't wander off. And they say it's another example of the ongoing cognitive decline. Oh my Christ. This is so funny. Neither the president nor White House officials have revealed why he got the MRI. Remember when Pam Blondie was like, we're the most transparent regime ever? Meanwhile, she was like, the Epstein list is on my desk. Just kidding, it doesn't exist. We're not going to give you any proof to why we're drone striking ocean vessels. We're gonna do the old trust me, bro. They were bad dudes. That old slice of proof, which I don't know, maybe that stands for probable cause now here in America. Trust me, bro. It's a new legal definition. But this is absolutely bewildering that people still support Pedo Pan. Not only is he, remember last year when they were like, Biden's old, he uses an auto pen. They were like, I'm going to vote for the guy his age because he's not as old. So I guess nobody's saying MAGA's smart. What's that song? If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. It should be, if you're going to be dumb, at least they're loyal. They're loyal to Pedo Pan. But the most transparent regime in all of fascist history hasn't still revealed why he got an MRI. Old Pam Blondie. Old Pam Blondie. And did you see they're co-opting? If the other reason why they do the gender-affirming memes is because clearly old Tubby Apricots, old Pedo Pan, I think I can fly. Maybe he was looking for Epstein. Sir, your good friend has passed. Sir, could you come back here? Epstein is not over there. But if you wonder why, they don't use his actual likeness when they're co-opting Halo, it's because they believe in gender-affirming care. For all you MAGA that, got irate about gender-affirming care, they put this dude's head on Master Chief's body. Hold on, there we go. They put his head on Master Chief's body. He wears orange makeup. That's why I call him, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. We don't know. The makeup's so good. Trump doesn't even say they're smart. You're right, Michael. He said smart people don't like him. So, but it is unreal that, his whole little cult base, we're like, gender-affirming care is bad. Meanwhile, Elon, gender-affirming hair plants. Craig Hegseth, what's his name? Tom Hegseth, some white dude's name. Some insecure white guy's name. I don't know. Peter, that's it. Peter. Oh, when you're named a Peter, I'm sure Epstein loved that name. His best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, I'm sure his best friend, Jeff Epstein, will love that name. Peter Hegseth. Even his mom was disappointed with him. Did you ever read the letter his mom wrote to Keg Hegseth? She was like, you disrespect women, and she said like it was basically a long Revolutionary War style letter of saying you're a disappointment to me. But this dude wears makeup, and then has to superimpose his head on other men's bodies. Still, I think that's going to be a relic. Historians will look back and they'll see the photos of people who put like Donald Trump's head on Rambo's body on like t-shirts and flags and their trucks. And people are going to be like, what was going on? Like, were they all mentally ill? Was there another plague? Did the bread have fungus on it? Like, what? Like, maybe there was too much poison in the water. And Donald Trump is allowing, not only is he wandering off, if you're just joining us, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. But MAGA's Supreme, Chicken Supreme, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president, Pedo Pan, J666, what's up, man? Thank you for the $2 super chat. 10 cents a day. You too can sponsor an American. That is true. J666, how are you doing? How are things going in your realm, in the realm of Westeros? It's Antifa, Pops. Get it right. How are you doing, Pops? You anti-American? Everybody in America is Antifa. That's why we're not Nazi Germany. Because we're anti-fascists. It's funny. I want to show these MAGAs. Hey, MAGA guys. Insecure incel MAGA guys. I'm going to show you this. There are two types of Trump supporters. Billionaires and idiots. I want you to check your bank account right now. I want you to go log into your bank account, and I want you to tell me which one are you. Everybody that's defending Pedo Pan in the live stream, I want you to go, I'll wait. I want you to go check your bank account and you tell me which one of the Trump supporters are you. Are you a billionaire or are you an idiot? I'll wait. I'll wait. Go on, check your bank account. Or maybe go look under your mattress, see how many singles you got down there. You know? Go on. Go on. You tell me, which kind of Trump supporter are you? Are you a billionaire or are you an idiot? By the way, let's take a look at the billionaires who did sit behind Trump at his inauguration. And let's see how things are doing for them, okay? Elon Musk became $180 billion richer. Remember, he invested $200 million and he got $186 billion out of his $200 million investment. Mark Zuckerberg got 47 billion richer. Jeff Bezos got 10 billion richer. How are you doing? Guy who wants to split egg with his roommate. This is why I say the news is a joke, because you got all these turds in here talking like there's some billionaire, but you're one of the idiots. Because the billionaires are doing just fine. They don't vote based on price of egg. They don't vote because Biden old. They don't vote because brown people come America. Ugh, ugh. They don't. But here's a truth. Trump supporters don't measure his success by what he does for them. They measure it by what he does against people they don't like. That's why they see him as being successful. This is why they will never abandon him. His tormenting of the others sustains them. And just so you understand how true this is they won't abandon him, and he is Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Do you know what that means? They were predators in the communities that you live in, that I live in. Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump made this world much less safe for young girls and young boys. I don't know. He won't release the Epstein files. An innocent person would just release the files. A person with nothing to worry about wouldn't send a team of FBI agents to black out the names. Okay? And then you support that dude, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. They were so close in friendship. I want you to consider something. Have you ever had a friend's birthday come and you were going to make them a handmade card and maybe do a doodle? Did you ever write a friend a poem? I've never even written a friend a poem. Think about how close of a friendship you have to write somebody a poem. You got to be a certain kind of enigma to do something like that. So again, I want MAGA to check your bank account and tell me, which Trump supporter are you? Are you the billionaire or are you the idiot? I seen this meme too, this tweet, whatever it was, MAGA. We can't let Muslims have political influence in America. There's Donald Trump. He looks lost in that photo too. By the way, if you're in New York, vote for the Zohran Mamdani. The dude is amazing. He's going to help us get this country back. We're going to take the country back. You know who we got to take it back from? These rich Nepo babies. These entitled rich kids that are destroying it and dividing the working class. And letting Americans starve and go hungry when we have enough housing, enough food. We have enough. It's just he's letting his little clique, the little club that he has that you're not in, he's allowing them to get 180. I just want you to think about $1 billion. $1 billion, you don't even have to worry about egg. You don't worry about rent, you own. And since Elon Musk paid $200 million to elect Trump, he made $186 billion. So we need to tax wealth, not work. Everybody who's working, no, you wouldn't even have to pay taxes if we taxed this dude at 100%, everything over $1 billion. What do you got to tax $1 billion working people to get even close to this? Or you could tax one dude. I'm not an economist. I know everybody likes to go, take an Econ 101 course. Okay, well, I could just tell you what numbers are bigger. Fucking idiots. But again, they worship the guy, Donald Trump, yesterday, if you missed it. He was on Air Force One. I'm surprised he hasn't wandered off that. He was on Air Force One bragging about an exam he took. Let's see. Do I still have the exam here? Let me see. I'll show you the exam. You think you could pass this? Here's the exam Donald Trump took. It's actually a cognitive test to make sure people with dementia don't wander off. Like it's still, use the potty. But here's the exam Donald Trump bragged about yesterday. This is what we talked about yesterday. I don't know. Could you pass this? Chimpanzee, flamingo, Steve-O. Ah, man, I think I failed. God damn, that president's smart. And then he has to repeat back these words. Fact, velvet, church, daisy, red. There is some math in here. If you could see subtraction starting at 100, do you know what 100 minus 93 is? I mean, this is MAGA. Put your calculator away right now. It's 7. Jesus Christ, guys. And then you just got to repeat. I only know that John is the one to help today. You just got to repeat that. So, I mean, this is MIT worthy. Noam Chomsky saw this and said, my Christ. No wonder. We have a new Stephen Hawking. But yesterday, Donald Trump on Air Force One issuing this challenge. Try and identify the animals to the Democrats. This is really like, peak politics right here. I bet AOC couldn't identify a camel. I bet she couldn't identify a chubby unicorn or a lion. And I made the joke yesterday that they gave him this test because they need to know if they need to slip an Apple AirTag. That's probably, that gold bar that Tim Apple, what Donald Trump called him? Tim Cook, but Donald Trump called him Tim Apple. Brilliant mind we're working with. He's like that meme from A Beautiful Mind with all the math equations floating around. But I'm sure that big gold bar that Tim Cook bribed him with probably was like an Apple AirTag. Because I joked, they gave him this test because they don't want the president wandering off. They don't want to have to issue a presidential alert saying, listen, if you've seen maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president, orange rouge. He's wearing an apricot rouge, fluffed up hair like it was, like he was in the B-52s. If you see that guy wandering around, he has a certain stank to him. Please bring him back to America. We seem to have lost him in Japan. And I was just making the joke. And then today I'm perusing the newsin', and I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be joking me. Trump, 79, wandered off while meeting Japanese Prime Minister. And the photo is just absolute gold. That is just brilliant. Everybody's standing at attention. He's like, where are you going? Like, was there a food table over here? Like, where is he going? What is happening, guys? And then there's like a good section of the country that are like, he can do no wrong. He's awesome. He sent a private police force, a political police force to kidnap people I don't like, even though I've never met them and they just scare me. Oh my God. Oh. Hey, don't feed the Yaguai. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. There are solutions, old Butterkins. Why do they call you Butterkins? You've been to Epstein Island? Huh? Is that where you got that nickname? Oh my God. We do suck as a society. Mendy Mendenhall. 100%. As a society where you have enough food to sustain a people, but you throw it away because you can't make a profit, we've failed. In the eyes of the good Lord Jesus Christ, who walked on water so I could die or live forever. I forget. I didn't read the end of the Bible. Revelations gets a little scary. But Jesus didn't walk on water so we could throw away food because Walmart, couldn't make a profit off their shit items. Don't you ever think about that? Don't you ever go, back in my day, we had Kmart, Bradley's, Toys R Us, Sears, J.C. Penney, Jordan Marsh, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. Well, we still have those. Um, what else do we have? We had like all these stores, and now everything's Amazon and Walmart, and they're selling crap that gets worse every day. And I always wonder, because you can't go anywhere else. Everything else is closing because Jeff Bezos and the Walmart heirs just want to own everything. They want to make little Bezos towns, you know. I always wonder the people that go to, I'll finish that thought, but the people that want to go to Mars, like, would you really want to live at a Tesla factory? Because you think Elon Musk is going to let you enjoy yourself? That dude is a simpleton. That guy is an absolute throb in everybody's buttocks. But man, I always wonder, like, do you think if you went to the Walton heirs, because Sam Walton, the guy who like created Walmart, he's probably been dead for a jillion years or something. So all his kids just like reap the benefits of it. Didn't work a day in their life. They're just rich little spoiled brats. Do you think if you went to the Waltons' home, there's like a bunch of fucking, what is it called? The Walmart brand, Basic Goods or some generic name. Enter generic name here. Do you think their home is filled with fucking, styrofoam chairs and, furniture that falls apart after you put something on it? Do you think that the Waltons are, using Walmart stuff? Oh, God. America, you disgust me. We could have it so cool here. It could be the coolest place. Kids wouldn't go hungry. People would have homes. We'd have communities. You could ride bikes outside again, and everything would be like Netflix, Stranger Things, where we're just going, and eating waffles. But no, it's got to suck because some of these rubes that are even in the chat, you rubes are worshiping these billionaires. You're worshiping. You're not holding them accountable for their Pedo Pan lifestyles like Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. You don't want them taxed, which if we just tax them, we could have free health care. God, paid for by your local billionaire. Isn't that hilarious? What, do you got a local billionaire? You see Jeff Bezos go to the pizza shop down by your house to make sure that they sustain themselves? Give me a break. These people are robbing our communities blind. And some of these people are like, I'll worship it as long as they get rid of the others. Just wait until they come for you, man. And meanwhile, the president is wandering off. Look at this. He's fucking wandering off. Why would you worship an apricot god that wanders off? No good. But for the MAGA that's here, just want to remind you, and feel free to share this. There are two types of Trump supporters. Billionaires, which we learned, they are getting filthy rich. Did you get $86 billion richer, 47, even $10 billion richer? Remember when you guys were like, oh, we're going to make America great? What do you mean by great? What's your definition of great? I guess that's really the interpretation we need. Is your definition of great rolling back civil rights, being misogynist and trying to get rid of women's rights and people being able to live the way they want? Like, was your big ordeal that, like, women and men's sports? I got news for you. Watch Mighty Ducks 1 and 2. There was women and men's sports in the 90s, and we didn't have a hissy fit and fucking elect an orange pedo. But look at these guys. They are making off like bandits. Donald Trump's making like $7 quadrillion zillion dollars with meme coins that you're like, ooh, I'm going to get in on Melania. Yeah, rug pull. The people that created the Melania token are being sued. Meanwhile, I love that Stephen Colbert does that. Meanwhile, nothing's gotten better in America. Nothing. It's just progressively gotten worse every day. And the truth is, Trump supporters don't measure his success by what he does. They don't. He didn't bring down grocery prices. We've read the reports. And even if you don't read the reports, guess what? Just go grocery shopping. Just try it. Try it. I dare you. It's like a double dog dare. I dare you to go grocery shopping and try not to spend your entire paycheck. You can't. You can't. Food is so fucking expensive right now. Meanwhile, the billionaires and Donald Trump, his whole little clique of rich kids, they don't even know how much groceries cost. They're like, what could it cost, Michael? $100 for an egg? I don't know. But Trump supporters, we need to wake these people up. They don't measure his success by what he does for them. They measure it by what he does against people they don't like. That's why they see him being successful. Even though the dude is literally embarrassing Americans every day. Look at this. Wanders off. I hope, Stephen Miller probably wasn't there. He's too racist. But I hope like Carolyn Levitt was like, oh, this is like a traditional American custom where we we mutter under our breath and wander off. Maybe we can just pawn this stuff off as, because the racism is clearly, very traditional in America. And that's why we need to stomp it the fuck out. Antifa forever. Like Jesus said, if you're not Antifa, you're not one of mine. You're not one of my sheep. That's what the good shepherd said. It's the book of Mark's. It's the book of Mark's, chapter 4, verse 20. Somewhere in there. Hold on. Is that it? No, this isn't the book of Mark's. This is the book of Mark. I don't have the book of Mark's. The book of Carroll. Book of Hot Carroll. How we do in America first? Well, people are getting ready to have their SNAP benefits cut off, and everybody should support SNAP because that's feeding hungry people. Even like the Church of Satan's like, yeah, you gotta feed hungry people. Church of Satan are decent people though. They won't let me interview them, but Meanwhile, the Christians telling people to work harder. I'm like, where did you get that loose Jesus quote? What book are you reading in the gospel? What gospel book are you reading where Jesus said, just work harder, you're lazy? How's America First going, folks? Are we all going to get to use this ballroom? I don't want to, but I'm just, I'm asking for MAGA. I'm asking if MAGA is going to get to use the ballroom. I know Jeff Epstein, probably. Is it going to be called the Epstein Ballroom in honor? Is he going to call it the Little Alita Way ballroom? Does anybody know what he's naming it? The Trumpstein room? The Ghislaine? What is he going to name this ballroom? I'm guessing it's got to be in honor of his late friend Jeffrey Epstein, right? That's got to be what it is. But, the old America First, taking care of Argentina, making a ballroom while people starve. What else? All while, snap. Donald Trump could have tapped into the reserves, and instead he said, a ballroom for me, let them eat cake. Anybody know that history? But what do you expect from a guy who, aced this exam? What do you expect? He aced this, by the way. He said it was very hard. That is not a joke. Yesterday I played the audio of Donald Trump saying, I took a very hard exam. And just so, because things get lost in the news, and doing my research as a avant-garde underground, velvet underground YouTube journalist, I did my research and I brought you the exam he was talking about. It was easy to find. You can find it online. And this was the test. And then even in the audio, he said it's easy in the beginning. You just got to identify 3 animals, like lion, giraffe, zebra. So I knew. I read into the clues. As a good avant-garde Velvet Underground journalist, I listened to what the president was saying, and I said, I went into chat Google T, and I said, chat Google T, could you please find the exam, the very hard exam the president was talking about? This is how I type. I don't look at anything. I don't even look at the screen. I just type like this. And I go spell check, clean that up. And I had found it. I found it for you. So you too, not Bono, you too, Y-O-U. You could see the difficult test the president was taking. Abstraction, similarities between banana orange, train bicycle, a watch and a ruler. I mean, could you ace this? Could you? Let's be honest with ourselves right now, you know? I know. Trump said, in the beginning, the questions aren't as tough. But he said this was very hard. Could you ace this? If I read this sentence back to you, could you say it back to me? I can't even see it. The cat always hid under the couch when the dogs were in the room. Could you even say that back? Maybe you don't have dementia. Whatever. The world is so cruel. Jesus is so disappointed. He's so disappointed. Especially the people that wear the thing he was crucified on, They wear his little death token. So disappointed in you guys. You guys elected a person who's wandering off in Japan, which sounds like a great album. Trump and the Epsteins wandering off in Japan. And this is the album cover. Oh man, I love it. It's like a vintage 2000s pop emo song. We'll get Burt Kraken from the Used to sing. Oh my god. Okay, so there was that was the other news. Holy shnikes, guys. I linked down below. I didn't take a picture of it. Screw yourself. Trump confesses that he found elementary school level test very hard. There's a moron in the White House. Hold on. So, down below, if you have not heard the Daily Beast podcast, remember, they were best friends. So when you're supporting, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president, old Pedo Pan. He doesn't want to grow up, There's, the Daily Beast has a YouTube channel. And they have a few different podcasts on there. But go to their YouTube channel. I linked it down below. I forget her name, Joanna. She hosts most of them. And she interviewed Jean Carrol. Who, if you don't know who Jean Carrol is, she's the older lady who I really like. I really respect. The lady got some gumption, if that's a thing. She got some spirit. And she shared something with me that I want to share with you. It's about a paperclip. I've seen a lot of the avatars with a paperclip, and I think that's a Louis Rossman thing. But she shared what wearing a paperclip means, and I wanted to share that with you. And we'll get to that in a minute. But Jean Carrol won an $83 million lawsuit, defamation lawsuit against Trump, and she describes him in the court, huffing and puffing and smelling real bad. And she describes, the things that she went through in her court cases with him. She was the one who also accused him of, back in the 90s. And I believe she even has a recent book out after this whole ordeal she went through. But she does an interview with Joanna from Daily Beast. And I linked that video down below because it's absolutely fascinating to get her insights. And her lawyer, Robbie, is an amazing lawyer. You gotta check her out. You gotta hear this interview. That's why I linked it down in the description. I also linked the article of Donald Trump wandering off in Japan. Is there a band who did Wandering Off in Japan? Every time I say that I feel like it's an album. I feel like it's, like Less Than Jake's Wandering Off in Japan. Anybody listen to Less Than Jake? Real Big Fish Wandering Off in Japan. Why do I feel like wandering? Oh my God. People Just Do Nothing. Hilarious show on Netflix, a BBC Three show. They did Huge in Japan. They did a whole album, I think. That's why I keep hearing that. But Jean Carrol, let's get back to the point. I got ADH, LMNO, PQ, RSTD. Jean Carrol won her $83 million lawsuit, defamation lawsuit against Trump. And I guess I was kind of listening in the background, but I guess she said if he defames him again, she gets like $5 million every time he, chirps. That's why he's been real quiet on her. But her interview is absolutely fantastic. And she goes through the court proceedings, what the jury was like, all this stuff, what Donald Trump was like in a courtroom, having an entitled brat not get his way and not be able to manipulate or abuse or oppress or bully people is fascinating to hear because, he's an entitled brat. He's always been, always will be. That's what we're witnessing right now. What happens when you let an entitled Nepo baby brat in charge who's never had to earn anything in his life, feels like the world owes him something, feels like he's the permanent victim. And Jean Carrol defeated this dude. She's inspiring, man. She beat him in court. And now we have another lawsuit with Michael Wolff, who's on the Daily Beast podcast as well. I've shared their link down there too. He's suing Melania for, I don't know specifically what the suit is for, but she threatened to sue him, which was an is just trying to silence him, and he surprisingly sued her back. So the Daily Beast podcast really has some good insights to these malignant narcissists that we're dealing with running our country. But Jean Carrol, at the end of the interview, again, it's in the description. Oh, and hit subscribe. I'm so bad at... Oh, wait a minute. Did somebody else super chat? I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. If somebody else super chatted. Did somebody else super chat? I don't see it. I don't know what happened to the chat. I see somebody else super chatted. I can't see it. My apologies. I don't know what's going on, but thank you for the super chat. I saw J6666. I don't know what's going on with the chat. I can't see the other super chat, so my apologies. Thank you. If you could leave a comment after the video, so I can personally thank you. But Jean Carrol, at the end of her interview, and please go watch this, it's so fascinating. She talks about, Joanna says, do you want to discuss anything? I guess Jean Carrol at one point wrote for Elle magazine and lost her job when she sued Trump, which is horrific. And she talks about that. But, she writes for a women's empowerment magazine. So they were asking her, what's a good fashion piece? And she says, you see what I'm wearing? And she had a little paperclip. Just a regular, I don't have one, but I'm going to start wearing one. And I wanted to share this with everybody in the community. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. My name is Rob. I go live every single weekday, sometimes on the weekends. And she said, I'm wearing a paperclip. And she said, back during World War II, I don't know who started it, but as a sign of resistance, something that was simple, something that everyone could take part in. She said during World War II in resistance, people would put on a paperclip. They would wear a paperclip, and that way, when you were out and about, just like, a MAGA, there's only one group of MAGA that wears the red hat, but you know how they have the identifier? And before there was MAGA, there was Fred Durst. So the red hats always kind of had a little je ne sais quoi. But there's two types of Trump supporters, billionaires and idiots. the billionaires don't wear red hats. Okay. You don't see them ever. They're not helping the economy. They're not supporting your local pizza shop. But MAGA has their signifier, so they can see each other from long distances. Oh, racist, racist. You know, they're a racist little red hat. Donald Trump's been racist since the 70s. Go look it up. Go look up the court cases. The Fair Housing Acts that he violated, that real estate agents would send people in, and he was caught being racist. That's why people say he's racist. That, and the private police that the Supreme Court he appointed legalized racial profiling so these people could even abduct Americans. It's racism. But those same morons didn't think Charlie Kirk was racism, and Charlie Clan was 100%. He was the definition of racism. When he said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to wonder if they're qualified. That's racism. But again, they're not teaching people anymore. They're not teaching people. It's something as simple as a definition. But just like MAGA has the red hat to identify, Jean Carrol didn't bring up the MAGA thing, but she talked about during World War II, they would wear a paperclip as a sign of resistance. It was something small, something anybody could get their hands on. It wasn't, you didn't have to buy a $50 hat made in China from Donald Trump. It's amazing he's even grifting their merch. He's even grifting them on their merch. When you see them wearing, just know they overpaid for something not made by Americans. It's so sad hilarious. I had to create a new word, sad hilarious. But Jean Carrol said, wear a paperclip. That way, and it's empowering. Because listen, these are hard times. I will always speak out because, I've known about Trump before he was on TV. Absolute douchebag. The Pedo Pan, Epstein's best friend, sealed the deal. There's never... I would say there's not much redemption arc for an 80-year-old Pedo Pan. So I'll always speak up, but I understand there's a lot of people that, don't want to make waves, that are, we live in scary times, There's a political police force. The president is threatening to prosecute his enemies. They don't abide by the law. They don't play fair. They cheat, they steal, they bully. They're oppressive fascists. So I understand it's intimidating. And that's why she was even saying, I thought this was such a good idea, the little paperclip, you wear it. So that way you could see other people wearing a paperclip and you'll just feel more confident. Because some of these MAGAs are confidently stupid. Donald Trump said, his words, not mine, smart people don't like me. Well, if smart people don't like him, who likes him? That's who likes him. And those people, they don't need Jim Brewer. Made a whole comedy bit about, oh, you trust scientists, making fun of people who trust science. It's that kind of idiocracy we're dealing with. So these people are confidently stupid. So I understand it can be intimidating or you don't want to, but the paperclip, Jean Carrol, at the end of the interview, I linked down below in the Daily Beast podcast, talks about wearing a paperclip. So you'll see there are more of us than there are of them. Trump didn't even get 50% of the vote, okay? If that election was even fair. I don't think it was. MAGA didn't even think the last one was. I don't know how this one was, but I think there was a little suspect if you don't even, not even accounting for all the polling stations that were threatened and, just look into it. But there are way more people that disapprove and are tired of this fascist lack of integrity ruining our country, while good, hardworking Americans and vulnerable Americans and Americans go hungry, struggle, and just should be prosperous, but aren't because you can't satiate the greedy. And the greedy are running things right now. And we're going to take our country back from them. But the link down below to the video is so important. And I thought, I love hearing from people that can give you those little gems, Jean Carrol talking about during World War II, how they would wear a paperclip to signify they were part of the resistance. Um, I absolutely love that, and I wanted to share it with you, and more importantly, I wanted to share the video with you so you could watch it for yourself. You know, take this person in with all that you can, because, you know, it's not, you don't get Donald Trump sharing little tidbits like that. He's usually either trashing someone or challenging someone or persecuting someone or trying to bully somebody. You know, you don't get, and I thoroughly enjoy when people have these little historical or little life hacks, or, you know, that's why life hack channels are so huge, because we kind of value that as humans. We value that kind of information. So check out the Jean Carrol. That's why I linked it down in the description. I don't know what happened to the chat. Maybe I hit something. Maybe I did something. But thank you for the super chats. Please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be back tomorrow. And I can't believe yesterday, if you watch yesterday's live stream, I was joking that they made Donald Trump take this very hard, he called it a very hard exam. And I'm not even kidding. He called it a very hard exam. That's the video we played. This was it. Identify animals. And I joked. I said, oh, they made him take it because they wonder if they got to slip a Apple AirTag tag in his pocket. And here we are today. He's wandering off. Old guy wandering off. Oh, Christ. Things are going to get better. We're going to make it get better. We the people. We're no kings. No dictators, no fascists. Antifa forever, just like Jesus said when he was walking on water. He was skipping over the water, saying Antifa forever. It's in the book of Marx, the book of Karl Marx, chapter 4, verse 20. Elon Musk fans should like that joke. All right, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love, much respect. Peace.